Good morning. This is our daily tarot. Our opening card that we have for today is the Star. The challenge that we're facing today is the Magician. The way we're going to get through the challenge is the Ace of Pentacles, and the overall outcome of the day is the Ace of Swords. Let's go ahead and get into these. If you all have an opportunity to go out and look to the eastern sky in the morning before the sun rises, wherever you live, you'll be able to see this really bright star above the horizon, as long as there aren't any clouds. And that's Venus. And Venus right now is moving into exact conjunction with Mars. And it's just pretty cool to see that. Now, the opening card that we have for today is the Star. And this is an energetic of hope and aspiration and being like finding our inner peace amidst all of the chaos that's around us. Now, when we look at this person in this card, they have these two vessels and they're pouring water into the river, and they're also pouring water to the earth. This card is ruled by Aquarius, which is considered the water bearer of the zodiac, which is interesting because it's an air sign, and yet through the air we receive the rain and we receive nourishment for the earth. And this person in this card is nourishing the earth. So perhaps we are realizing and having some idea of hope as to where we feel called to move this year. And it's reminding us that in order for our aspirations to actually root and take ground so they can grow, we have to go back and nourish them and take action and give our attention to these things. Now, the challenge that we're facing today is the Magician. Now, the Magician is the conduit, and they can call down everything that they need in their environment and with their will, because they know that what they are wanting to create is blessed. And yet it's showing up as our challenge card. So we may not be seeing how capable we are. We may not actually be taking these actions that this card is hinting to. And it brings me to this video that I saw recently where this psychologist was sharing that when you have an idea and you're inspired to do something, you have to take some kind of action within 5 seconds in order for that to be a memorable rooting experience. And if you just kind of brush it off, then it's not something that's likely going to stick around and take hold in your life. And so this is what the Magician reminds us of, is that we have to take action on that which we are inspired to do. And it's in that way that we show up to the world that is really what brings about possibility in its biggest form. And it's, maybe better for another day for me to go into it, but there's been times in my life where I've had these ideas to do things. Okay, I'll go into one really briefly. I had this idea to create this play, and I used to be a go-go dancer. So the play was going to be a story told about how we shape ourselves by who we are surrounded by. And I was going to do it with characters that were in different costumes, right? I had a cat, and I had a peacock, and I had a machine, and I had a wolf, and I had all these different kind of characters that had energetics to them that taught the fool who is going through life how to shape their personality in life. And on the other side, there was Essence, who is our inner self, that was playing dress up in this, side part of the stage where they were actually shaping their essential self based on all of these outside experiences. And so I had this idea for this play, and people were like, Katie, when are you ever going to do this? Where are you ever going to do this? How are you ever going to do this? And I was like, I don't know, man. It just keeps coming to me, and it keeps getting more and more clear. Well, 2 years later, I get asked to perform anything I want on this stage in Denver. And I'm like, well, maybe I'll do this play. And it ended up happening, and through the course of it happening, it also brought out my mom, who was living in Michigan at the time and had cancer, and my dad and all of my siblings, and all of these people showed up to my play, which was pretty freaking amazing because all of my family hadn't been together in the same room getting along for so many years, like childhood, like way childhood. And then 6 months later, my mom passed away. So that play allowed for this space for my siblings to see my mom for the last time because they weren't with her when she passed away. They stayed in Colorado. And so when we see the magic that we can create when we follow our inspiration, we can also see how we can get in our own way if we just tell ourselves that it's not possible. So that brings me to the way that we're going to get through the challenge of the day, which is the Ace of Pentacles. So this is a card that is speaking to our body and the wisdom in our body. And so it brings us to this place where if we're stuck in the mind, I lost the card. If we're stuck in the mind, which is what the magician is governed by, as Mercury, our mind, and how we talk about things and how we see things, how we see limitation. If we're stuck in that place, it can be really useful to go to the body because the body has its own wisdom, and you will feel yourself in your heart open up and bloom when you're called to do something. It's what called me to go to herbalism school. It's an energetic that the body itself will tell you about. And you can work with this energetic, like if you have a pet, like you can feel your heart open up when you're around your pet. And you can feel this sense in your body of what love is and what comfort is and what safety is and what all of these things are. And so if you find yourself in a conversation where something stirs you and you have this idea, listen to your body and how it responds to that idea. Is it exciting? Is it something that energizes you? And that brings us to this final card of the day, which is the sword, the Ace of Swords, which is clarity. And this awareness of your own system will give you a sense of clarity, and it will help you cut through all the BS and cut through the clouds of illusions and cut through all of the negative self-speak that says that you can't do this or why bother doing this. Because if I had told myself that to this wild idea about this play that I wanted to create, that moment for my family never would have happened. So follow your heart and listen to those inspirations, because truly magical things can happen when we do. I send you a good wish and lots of love. I'll see you again tomorrow.